What is going on, Hoops fans? Back at it with another New York Knicks video. And excuse the New York Giants jersey, just did a Giants video, but I felt like this was an important video to get up. Unfortunately, yesterday I was not able to stream the game. I will be streaming the game tomorrow when the Knicks play on Tuesday. But what this video is about the head coach, David Fizdale. New York Knicks fans are excited for the future, or at least a lot of them are, due to the fact that they finally seem to have gotten things on the right path with Perry and Mills in terms of keeping draft picks, not trading for older assets. And this year, when they did miss on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency, they did the right thing, and they used the cap space money but signed players to short-term contracts, giving the Knicks the ability to continue to build through the draft and wait to bring in that big fish when the opportunity presents itself, whether it's an Antetokounmpo or whether it's somebody else. But they've been patient, and they've done it the right way. Yes, last year they brought in David Fizdale, a year in which there was a ton of transition. We brought in a lot of reclamation projects, right? Whether it be Von Lay, whether it be Mario Hezonja, Moutier, a bunch of players, Trey Burke, and it didn't work out. We won 17 games. We had the worst record in basketball. Kevin Knox had a very disappointing year, and there wasn't much player development. Ntilikina regressed, Knox regressed. There was a lot of regression, and there wasn't any consistency with the lineups. Players could not get used to a role because he was constantly changing the lineups. And he continues, every Knick game I watch, he continues to make mistakes late in the games with substitutions. I keep harping on it. Perfect example was 2 games ago, R.J. Barrett. Why is he still in the game when you know they're going to be fouling? When they're going to be fouling you on free throws, R.J. Barrett can't hit a free throw. And last night seems to have been the tipping point where Perry and Mills right now seem as if they are very close to being ready to move on from David Fizdale, who has been very underwhelming to this point. Like I said, you can't really base it off of wins and losses specifically last year. This year, you kind of can. I'm not saying they should be a playoff team, but for you to lose by 21 at home to Sacramento when you've brought in all these established pros, it's inexcusable. For you to lose last night by like 20 to the Cavs at home, inexcusable. You lost to Detroit by 22 on the road. I'm not saying this is a great basketball team, but they should be playing better than this. And you would worry that a head coach that does not really know what he's doing, and it seems to be somewhat the case, would stunt the growth of a guy like an R.J. Barrett, a guy like a Kevin Knox, a Mitchell Robinson. So, as much as I always say that we need stability, especially with the Knicks, because they have been the least stable team that I root for, and that includes the Mets. But they've been very unstable for the last 20, 25 years. They're constantly changing coaches, right? We've gone through a slew of coaches, and a lot of them have been very talented coaches in other places that they have been, right? Everybody remembers Larry Brown. A ton of guys. So, Phil Jackson came in here. People thought that he'd be able to do something. Nobody's been able to fix this team. And if they don't feel Fizdale's the guy going forward, I think they brought him in here specifically to mold younger players. I thought that's what, I think that's why they brought him in. He has not done that. We have not seen much molding, and being off to a 2-8 start after you brought in guys like they did in free agency and losing to teams, and it's not just losing to these teams, it's the way they're losing to teams. Sacramento was a 3-6 basketball team. You lost at home by 21 points. You came off a great win against Dallas. But then you followed up against Cleveland, a team at home you should have won. You lose again by like 20. So Fizdale has been very underwhelming, and I think the Knicks are probably going to make a coaching change. And I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I thought that they'd wait at least 2 years. They seem to be that patient organization, and maybe they will. But I am not going to shed a tear if Fizdale is gone. He quite simply has not gotten the job done. There's no excuses this year for this team not to be at least a 30-win team, or damn near close, in my opinion. And being off to a 2-8 start, losing to teams that they should be beating at home is a big, big problem. And getting blown out by those teams. So I think the Knicks are going to move on. And to be honest with you, at this point, why not? This team's not going to compete anyway. So you might as well try to find the guy that you feel is going to be the right head coach going forward. They certainly have not been able to do that over the course of the last 20, 25 years. It's not always the coach, right? Like I said, there's been tons. Mike D'Antoni's another one. A guy, even though we didn't love him, he didn't stress defense. The guy had a lot of success in Phoenix, and he's had a lot of success in Houston. So a lot of it has to do with the organization. A lot of it has to do with the general managers trading away players, trading Melo away for, giving away all those assets to bring Melo when you could have waited in free agency. There's a number. The McDyess trade, there's a number of awful decisions this team has made, and Dolan has a lot to do with it. He is a bad owner, and he certainly is a part of the reason why players may not want to come to play here. But Fizdale is definitely not, is part of the blame. Let's put it that way. And if they move on from Fizdale, I personally think it's the right decision. I don't like him. I haven't liked him since about halfway through last season. I thought he was a guy that talked a big game, but he has not backed any of it up. And I want stability, but sometimes when you've got a situation where it's blatantly obvious that the guy is way in over his head, I think it's time to make moves. And to me, Fizdale seems like he's in over his head. That's just my opinion. But as always, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Should they fire Fizdale? Should they move on? Or would you stick it out for at least another year? If you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.